Hey y'all, welcome back to Ashley's Homestead Adventures. Tonight we're back in the kitchen. We are going to finish up some of those things that we started yesterday. I'm actually fixing to preheat the oven to 500 degrees and put both my Dutch ovens in. If you were here yesterday, you saw that we started 3 loaves of sourdough bread. Well, those 3 loaves have now turned into 4 because I split one of them in half and put it in those cute little mini bannetons that I showed you. So we actually have 2 mini loaves and 2 regular loaves to make. And then on top of that, I am starting a chocolate chip sourdough loaf tonight. And I'm also starting a croissant sourdough roll tonight. So I have lots of things to do in the kitchen tonight. And I just got out of the shower because I just got done mowing. I'm stinking tired, you guys. How are you guys doing? It's hump day. And we've been having the northern lights around here. I haven't personally got to see them, but I've seen a lot of pictures from around here. Have you guys seen the northern lights? I hope you're doing well, but I'll let you enjoy the beauty of working with me in the kitchen. And if you have any questions, please be sure to drop them in the comments, okay? Here is that chocolate chip sourdough loaf. Here is my amazing, happy, bubbly starter. That thing rose all the way to there, and now it's fallen back down. And then look at Cheeky. She's just like overachieving back here. Oh, I'm so proud of her. Look at all those beautiful, glorious, big bubbles. And then oh, she's beautiful. So one of the things that I will tell you about this croissant sourdough loaf is one of the key things about the loaf in itself is, and the key things about when you're making it is you want to keep that butter as cold as possible. So one of the tips that I'm going to give you is I'm actually right now going to put my metal bowl in the refrigerator. And I would put any bowl, even my ceramic bowl, if I was using that, I would put it in the refrigerator too while I make this other loaf. I'm gonna make the other loaf first, and I'm gonna let this chill in the fridge so that it's got a cold bowl to sit in. You don't really want this loaf to ever get above 72 degrees, so you use cool water, cold butter, and it's only like a 6 or 7 hour fermentation time out on the counter before you shape it and put it in a Benetton and get it in the fridge. Part of keeping this loaf structure and keeping all of the beautiful buttery flakes in the croissant style loaf is keeping that butter cold. So think biscuits and regular croissants. We're trying to turn this into a flaky, beautiful dough, and in order to do that, we've got to keep that butter cold. Pop that thing in there. Okay, to my bowl for my chocolate loaf, I have added 100 grams of my chocolate sourdough starter, chalky, 25 grams of oil, 310 grams of water to make up the 335 grams of water that's in the recipe. I just substitute 25 grams of it for oil to make the dough, to make the loaf softer. I found that my clients here in the South like a softer bread. They are not quite used to the crust of a authentic sourdough like my Northwestern friends are, and so therefore I just started adding a little bit of oil into all of my loaves, and it just creates a softer bread that my Southern friends enjoy more. Whisk it. Add my flour in, the brown sugar, the cocoa powder, and the salt, and now I'm just going to mix it until it creates a shaggy dough. I buy really high quality cocoa powder, and so I always find that I need to add a little bit of water. And by a little bit, I mean just a little bit at a time until I get the right consistency in my dough. Also, I like this dough a little bit stiffer. It is going to get a ton of chocolate chips, 125 grams of chocolate chips when we shape it. And I find that with this being a little bit stiffer and a little less hydrated, that it holds together much, much better when it comes time to cut it with all of those chocolate chips in it. If it's more hydrated, it tends to fall apart when you go to cut it and eat it. So this is where I am going to leave this for now, and we will start our stretch and folds in 30 minutes. Okay, I've retrieved the bowl out of the fridge. I added 120 grams of active bubbly starter from Cheeky, 340 grams of cool water, and 25 of that being oil. So it was actually 25 grams of avocado oil and 315 grams of water. .500 grams of bread flour and 10 grams of salt. Now we're just going to mix it up. This is basically almost exactly like my original sourdough recipe. It's got a little bit more flour in it. And it's got a little bit more leavening or sourdough starter in it. A little bit more water, same amount of salt. The magic doesn't happen until a little later. Okay, she's shaggy. I'm going to leave her just like that and let her rest for 30 minutes. And then we'll start our stretch and folds on this one too. In the meantime, our oven is preheated to 500 degrees with our Dutch ovens. So I've got, we're gonna get these loaves out of the Benettons and scored and get them in the oven. I'm gonna drop our temperature to 475. Whoops. $16 minutes. In the meantime, I have grated an entire stick of butter, and I kind of sort of divided it in half a little bit because we're going to be adding half of it at one time in stretch and folds and the other half in another time. This is going to go back in the fridge to keep it really, really cold. And I found that after you grate it and then it goes back in the fridge, it doesn't come apart as easily as I'd like to. So I found that if I go ahead and just kind of divide it into two piles, that does help me out. Okay, Cheeky and Chalky need to be fed and put away in the fridge. Their work here is done. And there she goes, back in the fridge, all fat and happy until the next time I'm ready to use her. Chalky's turn. And this is what happens to my station. I get all kinds of stuff going on, so I need to clean it up a little bit. It is time to decrease our temperature to 450 and take the lids off of our bread that's cooking. There's your sneak peek. 16 more minutes. Okay, Our timer has gone off. It's been 30 minutes, so we are going to stretch and fold the chocolate first. Oh, did you see that little tear? You didn't see it. Nobody saw it. Okay, let me wash my hands real good. We will set a timer for 15 minutes for the chocolate. The croissant, I have ice water here. Keep my hands nice and cold so that I'm not heating up the temperature of this dough. Quarter turn. We're just building the gluten strands. That's what we're doing when we're stretching and folding. It's creating that nice chewy bread that we all know and love about sourdough. Okay, it's gonna rest for 30 minutes again, and then we will add in butter. So the croissant loaf is a little different than all of the other loaves that I make. All of my other loaves that I make, I do a series of 6 stretch and folds. It's just my preference. There are different techniques that everybody has. Making sourdough is very much like being an artist. You are an artist of bread. That is, you know, an artisan that's part of what the meaning is. Everybody has their own techniques. Usually I do 6 stretch and folds on my bread. I do a 30-minute, 15, 15, 15, 30, 30. However, because we're adding butter to this one and we're trying to keep it as cool as possible, we do not want hot hands and we do not want it the dough heating up. We only do 4 stretch and folds at 30-minute increments. We will add butter in, half the butter in on stretch and fold number 2 and half the butter in on stretch and fold number 3. We will stretch it one more time after that and then we leave it alone. We don't want that butter to melt and seep out. We want it to incorporate into the dough in those wonderful, beautiful little flakes that we created. I also really want to pop in here. I try to do it with all of the recipes every once in a while in my videos. I share my recipes all the time, and I do call them my recipes because I am showing them to you. But for instance, this recipe I got it from Amy Bakes Bread, and it was a Facebook reel. That's how I found it. So this is not a recipe that I came up with all on my own. I got this off of a Facebook reel, and the author of that reel was Amy Bakes Bread. So just so that credit is given where credit is due, I wanted to make sure that I popped in a mention here. Through the middle of it all, I'm gonna go ahead and make a tuna salad with tuna that Mr. Wonderful actually caught off the coast of Oregon. This is albacore tuna, and he canned it in Oregon and brought it all the way home to me. So I am gonna go ahead and make myself some dinner, and I'll just go ahead and simply share the recipe with you while I make that, just because it is caught and canned by us. This recipe is gonna make 3 servings for me. So we have added 3 half-pint jars, or just at exactly a pound of tuna. It would be the equivalent of 3 cans of tuna from the grocery store, if that's what you're using. All right, our loaves are ready to come out of the oven. Oh, they're so pretty. Important, since we're going back in for a second bake, I'm gonna go ahead and get this oven preheating again to 500, and I'm gonna get these out of the Dutch ovens and get the Dutch ovens back in to pop up that temperature of these Dutch ovens again. And here's our beautiful loaves. Dang, they look good. To my meal prep tuna salad, I have added salt and fresh crushed black pepper, and then I'm also going to be adding in garlic powder, lemon pepper, onion powder, and slap your mama. I'm adding in the juice of 1 whole lemon. Don't worry, I'll go back and dig out the seeds if any go in there. A teaspoon of rice wine vinegar. We're gonna add about 1/4 cup of light Hellmann's mayonnaise. I have a palmful of diced onion, about 1/2 cup. I have about 1/4 cup of diced dill pickles from my neighbor's garden. Going right in. This next part is very optional. Don't knock it till you try it. Wasabi, just about a teaspoon. This trend all started with Matthew McConaughey. That's it, just a little dollop. We're preheated to 500, so I'm gonna go ahead and get those mini loaves out and get them scored and in the oven. Aren't they cute? They remind me of little like mini pies. Just a simple X on both of them. Decrease the temp 475. Minutes. To my meal prep, I'm adding an entire can of drained corn. And then I'm gonna add, because I have them from the garden, I'm gonna add a handful of cherry tomatoes and probably one of these peppers. These are mild peppers, these are not jalapenos, so I'll probably add one of these too, just because I need to use them up. They're the last from this year. My garden did freeze this week. For those of you who don't know, it is rest time. Okay, the alarm has gone off. I have a 15-minute stretch and fold we need to do on chocolate loaf. I have washed my hands just so that there's no cross-contamination of savory to baking. Don't need our chocolate loaf to taste like peppers or tuna. Ooh. Okay, there's our stretch and fold on it. To our croissant loaf, we are going to add 1/2 of our butter. So just going to sprinkle it on top. Trying to handle it as little as possible. And then dip our fingers in ice water back here. And go ahead and do the stretches and folds over the top of the butter. Gently. 1/4 turn every time. I'm just spreading out the butter a little bit here. Don't want it to be all in one great big clump. Okay. And that is how I'm going to leave it for now. Okay, we're gonna let this one rest for 15, this one rest for 30. And I'm gonna go ahead and mix up my meal prep / dinner. Gotta do a taste test for seasoning test. Tastes perfect to me. Man, it's amazing. Just that little wasabi, boy, that hits you right in the face. It's crazy. And then it goes right away. Yeah, I think it's good. I'm gonna go ahead and divvy it up into my meal prep containers. After I get that alarm is for the bread. We need to take the lids off. Sneaky peeky. They're so cute. Decrease the oven temp to 450 and bake for another 10 minutes. Okay, my meal prep containers are ready, and then that is my dinner bowl. To my dinner bowl, I add 28 grams of these kettle cooked jalapeno flavored chips for some crunch. For anyone who cares, this meal costs me 443 calories, but it packs 35 grams of protein in it. I know, y'all are just here to bake bread. Sorry. Stretch and fold clean hands on our chocolate loaf. It's starting to take shape. It's time to pull the babies out, but I don't have anywhere for them. I am gonna let them go for just a couple more minutes. Okay, that's better. And there are our two adorable little minis. Okay, we are on our third stretch and fold here. Our bowl is still cold. However, my house is a little warmer. It's been heating up with the oven going. So I'm a little bit worried about this, but it seems to look okay for now. I did go ahead and put the butter in the freezer, so it's super duper cold. So we're gonna sprinkle this on top. Ice water, and I'm gonna stretch and fold over the top of the butter. Can't really shake it like I normally do, so I may take more. I usually shake it to, you know, get it over the top, but I'm probably going to go around a few extra times, picking up that butter and sticking it in. The dough is still very cold, which is good. And now that frozen butter is going to add to the coldness of it. Okay, I'm happy with that. I've got one more stretch and fold to do, so I'm going to let that just do its thing. And the alarm just went off for chocolate. So we'll go ahead and stretch it. Cover it back up, and it's got 30 more minutes also. Last alarm. Last stretch and fold. Okay, wash my hands real good. Uncover this. Ice water. We're gonna try and stretch and fold this one more time. Set you guys down and shook it real good, and you know, like rocked it back and forth. And I'm actually going to go around one more time because this is it for stretch and folds. So I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to rock it back and forth pretty good here. Now we're that long. Hold it on. Now I can pick the whole thing up out of the bowl. Oh yeah, this is going to be delicious. The dough is still cold to the touch too, which is really kind of weird, but that's how you want it to be. Okay, this is going to sit on the counter for about 7 hours, which means that I'm going to be getting up extra early tomorrow morning, but we don't want it to get too warm. So, and once it bulk ferments here on the counter for 7 hours, then I will go ahead and shape it, put it in a Benetton. It'll go in the fridge for another 12 hours and then I will bake it off. So I'm gonna end up baking it off tomorrow evening. So probably on tomorrow's video. But that's gonna do it for tonight, you guys. We ended up getting 4 beautiful loaves baked off, the ones that we made in yesterday's video, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope that you'll come and see me again next time. I will catch you on the next one. Yours truly.